In this training, we're going to go over the SOP for net new deliveries. Let's dive right in. So first thing I want to do, let's open up a project that has been approved for delivery. Whenever I open a new project every day, I always duplicate. So we'll just go ahead and start off by duplicating. Whoops, we did that too many times. All right, so we'll drag this down to the archive. And then we'll relabel today's date. And we'll go off to the races. Now let's open this project. So here you have the timeline. And what we're going to do in this video is we're going to walk through creating a textless and multi-channel output. Let's dive into that. All right. So first thing that we want to do is to consolidate the project now. So this project, as you can see, we open up footage here. There's all this extra stuff here that's not being used. So the first thing that we want to do is get rid of anything in the timeline that's not being used. All right. So let's just take a look here. Here, let me change my view here so that you can see everything. Okay. So that's all being used. The chocolate paper is not. This guy down at the bottom there. Where that chocolate paper was being used at the top. There it is. Okay, so it's all good. That layer's not being used, so we can drop this guy down. There's a background. All right. It's all good. That transitions. Just go. Down there. I'm just keeping everything a little more organized here. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So now we've got this nice and clean. Let's double check our audio. The excess crap on here. Yeah, looks good. All right. So now we'll just make sure we've got all of our tracks clean. We'll delete any empty tracks. I don't think we have any. All right. Good. All right. So now this is a pretty clean timeline. So now it's ready to consolidate. So let's just grab this here. We'll get a copy. And now let's create a new project. So we'll go File, New Project. And we're going to call this versus super ecom, ESP, control, Facebook, and I'm going to put my initials on it, 3022. All right, so let's choose where we're going to put this. So now I'm going to save this to master control. So we'll go here to create it. And we're going to, I've already created the folder. I should have just not saying, oh, ACOM, there it is. MSP masters, and go into projects. And then we're just going to save this project right there. And we'll hit create. Now that it's created that empty project here, we'll just paste that timeline in. Okay, you can see it pulled everything in. So now let's go close this other project. And sure we'll save it. Okay, so now head back to the new project and we'll clean this guy up a bit. So you can see we've got a doubled up footage folders here. So let's drag that to the sequence. What's it there? Looks like we just got some template media. So that's all graphic stuff. That's graphic stuff, yeah. Let's just drag this into graphics. More of it. Okay. All right. Delete these extra folders. And yeah. So now we have just our sequence and a nice clean project. So to save. And if we haven't already, which I have already put this on, I've already exported this. This was the one that I delivered. I just renamed it. So let's actually rename this to match what we came up with before. So it's all right. So now let's create a text list. When creating a text list, you don't want to duplicate the sequence because we're going to want to create multi-channel audio. And so in order to do that, you have to set the sequence up. So let's hit new item. We're going to go to sequence. And I've got a preset here that I've pre-made. That's textless multi-channel audio, but just to show you what that looks like. So I've got, you click over here to tracks and you go to mix. You do have to do this when you first set it up. You can't do it after you've set the timeline up. It has to be a brand new timeline. So this is the trick right here. You want to choose a multi-channel, number of channels 6. And the reason why we want to do 6 is we're going to have audio 1 and 2 is dialogue, 3 and 4 is sound effects, and 5 and 6 are music. We want to make sure all these are mono. And then you want to click here and you can actually point where these are going. Audio 2 goes to 3 and 4. Where audio 3 goes to 5 and 6. All right, so let's click OK. That's going to create a new timeline. And now I'm going to open this guy back up and let's just copy the whole thing. Copy. Now I'm going to paste it in. All right, now you can see the aspect ratio is wrong, so let's go ahead and adjust that. Okay. So now we want to come in. You can see these transitions are gonna go. So let's go ahead and clean those up. There it goes. All right. All right. So let's open up our audio track mixer. And what I want to do is make sure all these sound effects and music are all on separate tracks. So move this down to its own layer down here. And then I'm going to take these 2 channels of music and put these on the bottom. Okay, so now I've got, let's run these guys. 7, 7, 8. So that basically just matching the audio track settings from the previous sequence because this is a brand new sequence. So just matching the mix settings. So let's delete these empty tracks here. Now that we've got that cleaned up. Okay. So -10 on all my sound effects. And then let's see, one of these tracks had a reverb on it. Let's see which one is number 4. That's the boxing bell. That's the reverb. So that would now be track 2. Okay, so now we're going to add a reverb to this. Studio reverb is the one I use. Change this to vocal room large. Okay, and then let's put a compressor on the top. And I set my gain to -2. All right, so now this should be ready to export. Okay, as you can see, the audio is still all coming out of just channel 1, 2. So that's where we'll adjust this here. So we're going to go, all sound effects are going to 3 and 4. And music's going to 5 and 6. Okay. So now when we play it back, you should be able to see it play out in the meters there. Perfect. You can see that playing out on the separate channels. So that is good to go. So now let's create the text list. So the audio is ready. Let's now create the Textless side. Let's go ahead and label this sequence. So we'll copy this guy and there. We're going to change the word control to Textless. Right. And so Textless, the idea is you want to get rid of anything in the picture that would keep you from being able to rebuild it. So you want to give yourself all the elements to rebuild the edit in case you lost everything. So we're going to remove the transitions and the titles. And now I've edited the project from start to finish with this in mind, knowing that this was the outcome. And so all my transitions are up high and my titles are all pretty much in the same layers. So we can just turn things off. So let's start by doing this. Let's see what happens if we do that. All right, so we will need to turn some of these on. Looks good. All right. So that is now ready to export. So now we will work our in and out. And then we're going to go into export. And now we do not want to do an H.264. We want to do it as a QuickTime, Apple ProRes 422 QuickTime. Then you're going to jump into audio, more. We're going to change this to 6 channels. Mono. We're going to choose where we're saving it. And right next to the texted there, the control, and we'll hit save. And let this run out. All right, now let's recheck the file. You can see here's our text list, and let's go ahead and import this in, and we'll see the magic of multi-channel audio. So now let's just grab this guy, and we'll create a timeline. Now you can see the audio came in off of that one QuickTime, and you've got stems ready to go. All right, that is how you export a Textless with multi-channel audio. Rock and roll.